My sister stunned the world by claiming she secretly married my husband, demanded my belongings, and triggered a scandal that shook our entire family. I, a 30-year-old female, have been married to Marcus, a fake name, a 32-year-old male, for 3 years. We met in high school and reconnected several years later. Once we started dating, there was no looking back, and here we are, married for 3 years and still going strong. However, not everyone was happy about our wedding, especially my older sister, Na, who was also 32. We went to the same high school, and Na had a major crush on my husband back then, but the feelings were not mutual, as far as I know. In fact, he did not even know that Na had feelings for him, which he told me several months into our relationship. Na did not attend our wedding, nor has she spoken to me since I announced my engagement, which was fine by me. She has never liked me, and I do not know why. It is not your typical sibling rivalry where I am the golden child and she is sidelined by me all the time, because our parents always treated us equally. It was not even as though I was better than her academically or in sports. Heck, we do not even look different, so I literally never understood why she disliked me so much. I tried to be her friend growing up, but that always ended with her pushing me away, so I stopped and made peace with the fact that my eldest sister just did not like me, and that was that. We were not close, so her not attending my wedding did not make much difference to me at all. We only met on holidays or family events, but even then she did not acknowledge me, and neither did I talk to her, because it was pretty pointless to try to befriend a person who hates you for no reason. Our relatives were also well aware of our strained relationship, so there were not many who questioned it either. It was just established that we did not cross each other's paths at all. However, about 6 months ago, she did cross me, and it was just so pathetic. 6 months back, my husband received a drunken phone call from Na, where she went on at length about how he had married the wrong sister and that she would be a much better wife for him than I was. She did not know she was on speaker, and I was sitting right beside him, giggling through her rant. She eventually ended it by announcing that she was going to marry him one way or another, and would even be willing to be his mistress if it came down to it. I was really surprised by that because it was so low. To be honest, I did think it was funny and pathetic, but I was also angry that she had dared to pull something like this even though I had not done anything to her. So I decided I had had enough, and if she was allowed to mess with me then, so was I. I encouraged my husband to flirt with her and give her false hopes. It was cruel, but it was also much deserved. He told her to come over to our house so they could get married now. And she agreed readily, sounding like she had won the lottery. Marcus and I set up a hidden camera in our living room the next day, and I personally decorated our room to look as dreamy as possible, fit for a wedding. Then, I sat in the next room when she arrived and watched the drama unfold. It was way too funny to watch her try to flirt with my husband while he just tried to be as stiff as possible. After a quick exchange of vows and rings, he told her to go away and keep this a secret until he told her it was safe to tell people. He did not even kiss her after the vows, and even then, the idiot did not seem to think something was off. After the mock ceremony, Marcus and I ended up laughing at the video for about half an hour because of how delusional this woman seemed. It was just sad that she was ready to go so low just because she hated me and wanted my husband. It sucks for her that my husband does not love anyone other than me. We thought about sending the video to my parents, but decided we would wait for the right time. She would definitely try to pull some nonsense on us again, and that is when we would send it to them so they would realize what a trashy person she really is, who was willing to hit on someone else's husband just to get back at her sister. My parents treated us equally, but they were also way too supportive of my sister, even though she did not deserve it. For instance, they paid for my sister's vacation to Spain a few months before I was supposed to get married because apparently she was very affected by this wedding and wanted some time away. I hated that they were falling for her victim act, but they were also paying for my wedding venue, so I could not complain that they were being unfair. They really were not. Again, they let my sister stay with them when I was on my honeymoon because she was feeling lonely. I hated that she would try to use my marriage to her high school crush as a way to gain sympathy from our parents, and they would fall for it again and again. I needed them to know that she was a terrible person and that they did not have to sympathize with her anymore. So for that, if I had to do something sly and backhanded, then I was ready to do that as well. I just did not want my parents falling for my sister's act anymore. We had to wait for the right time to send it to my parents though, because I knew that if I told them we had pulled this off just because of a drunk phone call, they would tell me that I was being just as bad as her, and it would lead nowhere, so I had to wait for her to mess up somehow. A few days ago, my sister finally publicly announced that she had been married to Marcus for 6 months now. And even though they had been keeping it under wraps until now, she was finally ready to own up to it. She also added that she was giving me one day to vacate the house and hand over all my jewelry, since now, as Marcus's wife, she owned everything that once used to be mine. Marcus and I were at home that day, and our inbox was instantly flooded with messages while our phones rang off the hook with noisy relatives asking about what was going on. After their fake wedding, Na would often text Marcus and tell him that she loved him and would constantly ask about when exactly they would announce their love to the world. Marcus would probably reply once a month and would always tell her that they would do it when the time was right. The last time she texted was 3 weeks ago, and I guess she just could not wait anymore. I was surprised that she had actually gone ahead and done something so crazy, but, well, I knew this was bound to happen someday. She was always going to snap and do something insanely stupid and ridiculous, and this was it. Marcus decided to call her up and even recorded the call so that I would have more proof to show to my parents. Even on the phone call, she was pretty confident, despite the fact that Marcus had immediately handed over his phone to me. For whatever reason, she genuinely believed that she and Marcus were still actually married. She told me that begging or pleading with her was not going to change the reality, so I could just save my breath and instead use my energy to think about what I would do now that I did not have anything. It was so ridiculous that I actually ended up laughing in her face before I told her the truth about what had happened 6 months ago. Of course, she refused to believe me and told me to put her on the phone with her husband, so I handed Marcus his phone. After that, he had to convince Na for about 10 minutes before she actually realized that she had been played for a fool. I do not know why exactly she had even fallen for any of this, since there was no priest officiating the wedding, no paperwork, and even her own so-called husband was not willing to speak to her more than once a month. I think anyone with even half a brain would have realized that this was all fake, and she had been screwed over, given so many hints, but she is too delusional. Once she did realize, though, she totally snapped and started screaming at us about how we had just ruined her reputation and life, and that we were downright evil and immoral for doing this to her. She was even sobbing about how I destroyed her life. But I really think that it was she who did this to herself. She wanted my husband and my life so badly that she was willing to do anything for it. I really do not understand how that is my fault. Even after that, when I sent my parents the wedding video and explained to them everything that had happened, since they had been getting a lot of calls regarding Na's post and, since they were not too active on social media, they had no idea what was going on. Marcus and I explained everything and came clean to them, hoping that they would see that Na was a terrible person and was willing to wreck my home just so she could be with Marcus and steal my life from me. But the only thing that my parents cared about was the fact that I had been a cruel person, and my husband and I had played a nasty prank on Na for absolutely no reason. They told me that they were truly embarrassed by the antics that their fully grown daughters were up to and even threatened to cut us both out of their will if we did not grow up and issue a public apology to each other. I got into an argument with my parents over this because they just could not make me apologize to the woman who was trying to steal my husband from me. It was just not fair, and yes, maybe I had been a bit too cruel and had taken things too far, but that did not just magically make Na's actions right. My parents were stuck on the fact that what we did to Na was messed up on a psychological level, and instead of creating so much drama, we could have just blocked her after that phone call and made sure that we told them that day itself instead of waiting so long, just so that Na would inevitably end up creating a public spectacle of our family. They think that both of us are too self-involved and believe that we need to introspect a little. My mother told me that Na might be a jealous homewrecker, but I am no less, since what I had done was actually psychotic, and she could not believe that she had raised 2 daughters who hated each other so much that they were willing to stoop to any level just for revenge, even at our age. I will admit that it really did sting a lot. It has been 2 whole days, and I still cannot bring myself to forget that comment. Even though my husband thinks that my parents were way too harsh on us, I do not know what to think right now. Am I the asshole for making a fool out of my sister for 6 months by making her believe that my husband actually loved her back? Update 1. Hi guys, I know I messed up. I do realize that now, so everyone can ease up on the hatred. I am a human being, and I made a huge mistake. I get that now. What I did was cruel and unnecessary just to force my parents to cut my sister off. I did not realize it back when I was writing that post, but I guess I had grown to hate her just as much as she hated me and did not even realize it. Nothing justifies what I did, since it caused someone an unbearable amount of shame and trauma. A few days after the whole fiasco, my parents got in touch with me and told me a lot of things that I did not know about my sister, and I just did not know what to say anymore. I am ashamed of myself right now, and I wish I could go back in time to fix things. We should have just blocked her number that day and let it go. Na is actually in rehab right now because, while I was not aware of it, she had a crippling alcohol addiction and was struggling with that all along. I do not blame myself for the addiction, of course, but I do think that she relapsed because of what I had done 6 months ago. She had relapsed once, but my parents had managed to keep an eye on her for the next few months so that she would not give in once more. But then, after Marcus and I told her the truth, she relapsed yet again. Even all the supposed vacations that my parents were sponsoring for her, which I had misunderstood, were actually trips to rehab. But since my parents needed an explanation for her absence at certain events and holidays, they used vacations to cover it up. Na and I had pretty much stopped speaking after she moved out for college, so I had no way to find out what she was going through. My parents told me that they do think they messed up by not telling me the real reason she would be absent for so long and did not realize that their lies about where she was would backfire in such a way. They had not even considered the possibility that maybe even I would feel jealous and try to get back at her, which is why this whole situation came to be in the first place. I really just do not understand what to do right now and feel so awfully guilty. Na had behavioral problems all along growing up, but I had never known that because my parents had never told me about any of it. They had done their best to treat us like equals, and I think they did their job well too, but this was just a consequence of keeping us separate that they had not considered, and neither had we. To be very honest, both of us had lost any compassion we had for each other, and had forgotten that this person we hated so much was also a human being. I really do regret what happened, and I am planning on paying her a visit as soon as I can so that I can at least apologize for what happened. There are still a lot of our relatives and extended family who are trying to gossip about what has happened, and while under usual circumstances, I would have grabbed this opportunity to talk badly about Na, I am obviously ignoring all those people now and only praying that nothing too serious happens to her. My parents told me that they found her passed out in her house, which was a first. All the other times that she has relapsed, she has been able to approach them and ask for help, still conscious. When my parents did not hear from her for 2 days after that post, they decided to go visit her. And that is when they realized that she had relapsed yet again. I cannot imagine how difficult it must have been for my parents to realize that my sister and I had fallen apart so badly that there was no hope of reconciliation. Oh, I am just so sorry about what has happened. I do not know why I am saying it here either, but I feel like I have to put it out there in the universe so that somehow Na can feel it. I am truly sorry. Update 2. I finally visited Na today. She was in really bad shape, and it showed on her face. She has been in rehab for a few weeks now. She is slowly recovering, but she was not in any state to meet people, least of all me these days. She had finally agreed to see me, and it was really weird and horrible for me to see her because she looked bad. Not ugly, but bad in a way that makes you feel like this person has been through something. It was very awkward for me to walk into that room and speak to her initially, since we barely ever treated each other like family once we reached adulthood. But now we had to put all that behind us, or at least try, so that we do not keep trying to one-up each other and drive one another crazy in the process. So I apologized to her for what I had done and admitted that it was just insane. I hated her so much that I literally pulled some soap opera-level stunt, just to put her down and gaslight her, which was pretty psychotic of me. She agreed and then apologized to me for trying to get with Marcus as well. She told me that she had always been jealous of me, right from when we were kids, because once I was born, she felt like I would become her competition. It was all internalized, but it still manifested in her behavior, and she just could not control it. So, she felt the need to put me down and compete with me so that she could win. When Marcus agreed to marry her, she finally thought that she had won, but that was not the case. She said that she was finally done competing, and even though this did not mean that we were friends all of a sudden, it was certainly a fresh start to say the least. So, that is what happened, and I truly am grateful that I got a second chance. I would have hated myself forever if something awful had happened to Na, and would have forever blamed myself. I feel considerably better now. Update 3. Hi, I just wanted to tell you guys that Marcus and I are still together, obviously. That goes without saying. I do not know who suggested that Marcus and I had split just because I had not mentioned him in my updates. He knows and is well aware of everything that has happened to Na, and he also apologized to her. She did not want to meet him, but she did say that she was over it now and realizes that Marcus was just trying to be a loyal and protective husband and she is not going to hold that against him. So, that was that. He obviously felt really guilty about everything as well, and was just as sorry as I was, if not more. I have no idea why people were bashing him for being complicit and not doing anything to fix things, even though I had not even mentioned whether he had apologized or not. So, I hope this clears that up and people stop calling us horrible names. We have apologized and Na forgives us. End of story. For the people who are blaming my parents and saying that they are responsible for this situation, I do not know why you think that is the case. My parents could have dealt with this better for sure, but I think they were trying their best to handle everything with sensitivity and kindness. Them hiding my sister's alcoholism from me was probably in both our best interests. I hated her, and she hated me, so why would it even matter what the other was going through? Obviously, they did not know what was going to happen in the future, so I am not going to blame them for hiding this piece of information from me. They did what they felt was right, and honestly, I think it is fine. There are a lot of you guys who still think that my sister is the villain somehow. And okay, maybe she is, but so was I. What I did was really messed up, so if I get a second chance to fix our relationship and have a normal family for once, then I will take that without a question, even if it means forgiving my sister. Thank you. Update 4. Hi everyone. It has been 1 whole year since I posted last, and wow, this feels weird, but I think I am ready to share what has happened since then. A lot of you warned me that my sister would backstab me again or something. A lot of you said that I need to cut my parents out of my life, and a lot of you thought that I was the only toxic element here and that they would all be better off without me. I am thankful that none of those things are true, and we are all happy with our respective lives right now. My sister and I made a genuine effort after that to reconnect and build a relationship with each other because both of us were pretty tired of fighting with one another. It just was not worth it anymore, especially in our 30s, when we had 100 things to worry about anyway. We just did not want to spend more of our precious time and energy on something as petty as our rivalry anymore. So we would meet for coffee every once in a while, not too often, but at least once every 3 months. We were also actually nice to each other at one of our cousins' weddings, and that was quite the shock for the rest of our family. Na and I are not the best of friends at all, but we are trying to be friends. We are okay with each other now, and that is what matters. I do not think we will ever get to a point where we are very close, but we are not going to actively try to hurt each other now, that is for sure. She is also moving a little further away from home for a better job, and while that does sort of seem risky, given her predicament with regards to alcohol, my parents are going to handle that, and if they ever need any help, Marcus and I will always be there for her. It finally feels like I have a somewhat normal family, and I am really, really happy about it. I never thought that Na and I would ever have any relationship at all, let alone a good one, but who knows, maybe even that is going to happen someday. So, I am glad that I did not give up hope. Speaking of family, there is soon going to be an addition to mine. Marcus and I discovered that we were pregnant just a few weeks ago, and everyone is thrilled. I am 1 month in already, and we announced it to our close friends and family on FaceTime a few days ago. I FaceTimed my parents and sister in a group, and when I told them the news, they seemed really thrilled. Na seemed genuinely happy when I told her, and even sent me a bouquet of yellow roses to congratulate me the next day. So, life is being pretty great. And I guess that is how it is when you are not constantly filled with hatred and anger. I am looking forward to pregnancy and motherhood, and I hope for the best. As I sit here reflecting on the whirlwind of events that have unfolded over the past year, I find myself caught in a tangle of emotions, relief, gratitude, regret, and a fragile but growing sense of hope. The journey with my sister Na has been one of the most challenging chapters of my life, and yet, it has also been one of the most transformative. Looking back, I can hardly believe how consumed I was by anger and resentment. How I let our strained relationship define so much of how I saw her. The bitterness that once burned in me when I thought of Na has softened, replaced by a cautious optimism that maybe, just maybe, we can build something new from the ashes of our past. I think about the moments that led us here, the drunken phone call, the cruel prank, the public fallout, and I feel a deep pang of guilt for my role in it all. Knowing now about Na's struggles with alcohol addiction, something I was completely unaware of at the time, I wish I could go back and choose differently. I wish I had seen her not as my enemy but as someone hurting, someone grappling with demons I could not understand. My actions, driven by spite and a need to prove a point, only added to her pain, and that realization weighs heavily on me. I am not proud of the person I was in those moments, but I'm trying to learn from it. To grow into someone who thinks before acting, who chooses empathy over revenge. Becoming a mother soon has intensified this reflection. I think about the kind of example I want to set for my child, the kind of family I want them to grow up in. I want them to know a world where love and understanding triumph over old grudges, where mistakes are met with forgiveness rather than judgment. This has made me look at Na differently, not just as my sister or my rival, but as a human being with her own story, her own pain, and her own hopes. Our coffee meetups, though infrequent, feel like small victories. The fact that we can sit across from each other, share a smile, or laugh at a cousin, sweating without the weight of our past hanging over us feels like a miracle. We are not best friends, and we may never be, but we are trying, and that effort means more to me than I can express. I am also filled with gratitude for Marcus, who has been my rock through all of this. He stood by me even when I was wrong, and shared in the guilt and the apologies that followed. His loyalty and willingness to confront his own part in our actions have deepened my love and respect for him. I am thankful, too, for my parents, who, despite their missteps, were trying to protect both Na and me in their own way. Learning about their efforts to shield me from Na's struggles even, if it backfired, has given me a new perspective on their love for us. They were not perfect, but they were doing their best, and I can see that now. There are moments when I still feel the sting of everything. My mother's words calling my actions psychotic, the gossip from relatives, the fear that Na and I might never find peace. But those moments are fleeting now, overshadowed by a sense of lightness I have not felt in years. It is as if I have let go of a weight I did not even realize I was carrying, a weight of anger and hurt that kept me tethered to a version of myself I no longer want to be. I look at Na now and see someone who, like me, is trying to find her way, to heal, to be better. I do not know what the future holds for us, whether we will ever be close, or if we will always keep a careful distance. But for the first time, I am hopeful. I am hopeful that we can keep taking these small steps forward, that we can build a relationship grounded in mutual respect, if not deep affection. And as I prepare to welcome my child into this world, I carry that hope with me, dreaming of a family where love, forgiveness, and understanding are the foundation we build upon.